Good day to you all. First off, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this short webinar. It's a very unusual and challenging time that our world is going through at this moment, and we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be with us and to see how GreenRoad is focusing its attention and resources on trying to develop solutions to help companies like yours maintain their fleet standards while also adapting to this new normal. My name is James Michael Zems. I've been a fleet consultant in our industry for over a decade now. I'm also the Senior Director of Sales for North America here at GreenRoad. I'll be spending just a few brief moments going over some of the current situations affecting the fleet industry and what we are doing here at GreenRoad to address these situations with our solution. I'm also joined by my colleague, Senior Solution Engineer Dougie Portwood. Prior to being a solutions engineer, Dougie was actually a driver for many years and brings with him a wealth of knowledge about the fleet business. He also brings a unique perspective on the value our solution can provide to not only the fleet managers, but also to the drivers as well. Most of the time here will be spent with Dougie giving you a detailed rundown of the solution we have developed specifically for fleets during this time. A, because he's more interesting, and B, his Scottish accent sounds much better than mine. So I've also allowed for a few minutes at the end of the presentation if anyone has any questions about our solution, any comments or feedback you may have. We'd also like to get your input on some of the challenges you all are seeing out there currently within your industry as it pertains to fleets and fleet management. Obviously, when it comes to running and maintaining a business on the front lines during a situation like this, it's you who are the experts. We rely on to tell us the most important aspect of your day-to-day operations and how we can best assist you in building tools that help you. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. We're entering a new normal in our society at this very moment. Most of the world is currently under a shelter-at-home order, causing quite literally an overnight digital consumer revolution that can change the way that companies go to market for generations to come. Most businesses around the world are currently shuttered, facing uncertainty on when they can get back to business as usual and if it will ever be usual again. Essential businesses remain open, but the resources they rely on are quickly becoming strained. Here in the United States, before all of this happened, there was already a major driver shortage affecting the transportation industry. This pandemic has simply shined a brighter light on how important drivers and fleets are to our country, our economy, ultimately our way of life. One upside to this forced closure is many companies are adapting and figuring out new and innovative ways to bring their product directly to the consumers. In some cases, it means turning existing brick and mortar retail locations into emergency fulfillment centers for the time being. It means repurposing frontline customer-facing employees into fulfillment reps, and in even some cases, rare cases, into temporary delivery drivers. As we already know, suppliers of key goods are working at capacity and beyond. Delivery services are a lifeline for citizens and businesses alike. These next few weeks are going to be crucial for small businesses, especially those with vehicle fleets, right? This will be the time they will need to ramp up on additional resources. They'll be looking for ways to keep those resources running as efficiently as possible. GreenRoad has made its name in the fleet industry by bridging the gap between manager and driver with its intuitive and transparent software solutions that have been centered around helping companies reduce their liability exposure when it comes to their fleets. So why are we talking today? How does GreenRoad and its software relate to what's going on in the world at this moment? GreenRoad, like many companies, is adapting to focus on the needs of our industry at this moment. We're pivoting away from our normal hardware and software solutions into a new, faster, more focused solution that will help companies like yours get virtually instant visibility on your expanded and in some cases temporary delivery fleets and drivers. As you can see in this slide and that we've been discussing, delivery drivers may become the most in-demand job in the coming weeks and months. So what does that mean for your current fleet? It means that most likely you're going to have a surge in hiring part-time and temporary contract delivery drivers that are going to lack the experience and know-how of your long-time company drivers. These new and temporary contract drivers will be necessary to keep your business, ultimately the economy, moving for an uncertain amount of time. At the same time, you're going to need real-time visibility and accountability to make sure that quality standards to your customers are not compromised while you expand your fleet. If you look at this slide, you can see companies like Amazon are doubling and tripling their delivery capacity. Amazon and similar sized companies have the money, the resources to expand at lightning speed. They can also afford to have 1, 2, or 200 deliveries go missing, arrive later with the wrong item. This is not the case for most businesses. Most businesses, probably like yours, rely on the reputation of quality and service. So even in the most trying times, you're not going to be willing to compromise on these commitments to your customers. Temporary drivers are not. We're trying to make it so that you don't have to. Hire the help you need. Let us provide you with the visibility and the accountability to keep your commitments to your customers. And let us provide it to you at a low price and without a commitment. So when this crisis ultimately subsides, you're not stuck paying on a long-term commitment for what was a temporary solution. In a minute, I'm going to push this over to Dougie, who's going to expand on the solution itself and how you can use it in your day-to-day operations. But I do want to ask a favor of you in advance at the end of this presentation. I really want to know if any of this resonates with what you're currently going through or what you think you may be going through in the next coming weeks and months. I want to spend some time at the end of our presentation to hear from you. We want to hear about what your biggest challenges are in this industry right now. Some of the questions you might be facing are, have you hit capacity? Do you have supplies that need to be delivered, but little or no resources to deliver them? Is your fleet short-staffed with drivers being ill, in isolation, helping out their own family members? Also, how are you handling the immediate training of your new employees? Are your drivers speeding more than usual? Are they obeying speed limits and safety rules despite the new pressure that they're under? Temporary and contract drivers, how are you currently managing them, or how do you plan to manage them going forward? I want you to think about some of these things and feel free to share them during the end of our presentation during the Q&A. The more we learn about your business and what you're going through as a company, the better positioned we are to provide you with tools to assist. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Dougie Portwood. He's really an expert with our product, as I said before, with years of experience with our industry, to walk you through our new solution in detail. Dougie?
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, indeed, we are living in very unusual times. You mentioned earlier that in these times we hear many great stories of adaptation and flexibility. You also mentioned that suppliers of key goods are working at capacity and beyond, and we see examples of this every day. The delivery services are the lifeline for citizens and businesses alike. I saw an example in The Guardian the other day, and they were asking supermarkets to boost deliveries for people that were in sheltered, or we call it shielding. I think you call it self-isolation. And this is where we can really help with GreenRoad. And the best part is all you need is for your driver to have a smartphone, an Android one or an Apple one. The GreenRoad app is already in the App Store and it's waiting to be downloaded. All you need is a username or a password, and we'll supply that to you. We can even send that direct to your drivers if they've got their own email addresses. In the time it takes to make a cup of tea, or in your case a pot of coffee, JM, you'll be logged in and ready to go. The next time you drive, you simply put the phone in the cradle or the holder and the app will do the rest. We do recommend connecting it to power cord when you're driving, but we do appreciate that that can be difficult if you're riding a motorcycle. Yes, you did hear correctly. This also works on motorcycles and mopeds as well. So while the guys and girls are out there doing their bit, what do you as a manager or a team leader get from the Drive app? In a word, visibility. Or to be more exact, full visibility. Let me explain. We've taken our fully featured safety and tracking application, and like many other businesses that you mentioned earlier, we've adapted our own solution, and we've adapted this for the current situation. We've focused the solution on the elements that are important to you right now. It goes without saying that you'll see the driver's current location, a dot on the map if you like. But more than that, you can also filter down to find exactly the right driver for the task in hand. The solution uses Google Maps. That means that as well as the map view that you can see, you can also switch to satellite view, or if you need to, go right down to street view. And on top of that, there's Google Traffic as well. But what about if you're not by a computer? Or really more realistically, the team leaders who are out there operating in the field. To be really effective, they also need visibility of their own teams. The GreenRoad Drive app gives you and any of your supervisors the same instant visibility. Your fleet is there, right there in your hands on your own mobile device. The same search functions are available to ensure you can easily locate any one of your drivers within a few seconds. But back to the desktop. What else can you use the Drive app for? As well as their current location, you can see exactly where your drivers were at any time. You can look at the past and you can drill down and you can replay any part of their route right there on the screen in front of you. Anywhere there's a map screen on the system, you can start to build individual or groups of geofences. Geofences are areas of importance to your business right now. So far so good, but we have retained some of the safety elements of the Drive application as well. As you're aware, both the UK and the US government have relaxed some of the driving hours, or you refer to it as hours of service in the States. But these are only for certain circumstances, and driver safety remains paramount. Our live list gives you instant visibility of driving time and non-driving time. The spin-off from that is you can also see immediately if there's any obvious inefficiencies in the operating schedule that you have. And finally, what about your team? How are they driving in this new normal? As we mentioned earlier, the need to focus on the safety application has moved more towards meeting the current challenges. However, we all know far too well that driving at excessive speed increases the risk of collisions, or even worse. Currently, only essential journeys are being made, so traffic is much lighter than normal. I recently saw on Facebook a clip by Forbes, and it commented how truckers in the US are finally able to get more deliveries done due to the roads being, and in their words, eerily clear of traffic. But quieter roads may lead to complacency. So we made the decision to retain the full speeding feedback in the Drive application. Drivers will receive verbal alerts if they exceed the speed limits. Managers and team leaders can get real-time notification of excessive speeding violations, and they get those direct by email. The objective of GreenRoad, even in these times, remains the same. By coaching and encouraging drivers to remain safe, we all benefit. From you, the managers and team leaders, to the drivers and their own families, and to us, the consumers, right at the end of the last mile logistics chain. And when the day comes when we do get back to normal, the new normal, whatever that's going to look like, the GreenRoad Drive app is there to help. We've been in the market for well over 15 years now. And originally we came from safety, and we work closely with fleets and fleet operators just like yourselves. The Drive application has additional functionality, and this can easily be enabled and provide your drivers with much more in-cab coaching. Perhaps not now, but certainly something to look forward to when COVID-19 has finally been overcome. So with that, I'd like to hand back to JM. Let's open the lines and allow you to discuss any challenges or ask any questions that you may have at this time. JM?
Fantastic job. Thank you, Dougie. At this point in the presentation, we would love to hear from you in regards to any questions about our solutions, comments about the presentation, especially any challenges that you and your business may be going through at this moment. Would like to share with us so we may better understand how to build the tools to assist you with these challenges. From previous presentations, I know it can be dangerous, I'll bet a bit chaotic to unmute all of you at the same time. So if you can please use the chat box, you can type any questions there, and myself and Dougie will do our best to answer any things or address any of the challenges that you may want to talk about. In the meantime, we do have some frequently asked questions that were primed from our LinkedIn followers that we can cover. So I'll go ahead and get started with those. So the first question is more of a technical question. Dougie, this one's going to go to you. The first question is, what type and spec of phone is required for the Drive and Track application?
Okay, no problem, Jim. Android devices, and they need to operate version 5 or above. I'm not an Android person, but I believe that was Lollipop, if I recall correctly. Apple, no funny names with Apple. You just need an iPhone 5 or above, and then you'll be good to go.
Perfect. They can download both of these from the Apple
Straight
App
from
Store,
the App Store
and the Google Play Store, correct?
Yeah, they're there sitting there waiting for them just now.
Fantastic. All right, next question also looks like to be more of a technical question, so this will also go to you, Dougie. It says, what is the data usage of the app and the impact on the battery if not plugged in? One of the followers said motorcycles, for example, so it goes right back to your moped and motorcycle question.
Yeah, no problem, Jim. So we've done extensive testing with this, and the tests show that even if you don't connect to the power, it's around 10% per hour that it will impact on the battery. Obviously, if you're connected to the power cord, then the drain is negligible. If the phone is just sitting on the desk and you're waiting to go out, it's less than 1% per hour that's on there. Regarding the data usage, it's around about 150 to 200 megabytes for 100 hours driving. So in this day and age, if the drivers are doing 50 hours a week, that's two weeks for 200 megabytes. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like we got one question in the chat box here that's actually echoes right with the same question I was about to ask. It says, hi, James. Is the solution easy to deploy? Is the app available in all the standard places? Yes, and actually goes right with the first one, is how quickly can your solution be deployed and what is involved? So yeah, what's great about the DriveTM Track app, as Dougie explained, it's available in both the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store for immediate download. How quickly can it be deployed? It can be deployed as quickly as your drivers can go in and download it from the App Store. And we have a very intuitive Excel spreadsheet that we can deliver to your ops manager or frontline dispatchers to be able to fill out. And we can usually get emails and passwords out to you, whether it be a 100-unit fleet, a 500-unit fleet, or a 1,000-unit fleet. As soon as we get back the Excel spreadsheet included with the usernames or the vehicle information, we can have you completely set up within 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours, depending on how large the fleet is. But it's a very rapid deployment for the app specifically. So next question is also a technical question. It says, can we customize our own tolerances in regards to speeding? So Dougie, I'll go ahead and let you take that one as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we can do, and you can do this at manager level, you can set the tolerance to either a percentage, okay, 5%, 10%, 15%, whatever is applicable to your organization, or you can put it as a fixed number, 5 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour. Absolutely, you can do that, and you can do that at your level. Okay.
Outstanding. Absolutely. So next question, this is an easy one. I think I can take this. Is there any hardware involved to track the vehicles? The answer is no. This is the beauty of the DriveTM Track app. Is it, again, available from the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store. They download it. The only hardware they need is that cellular device sitting on their dashboard, preferably plugged in and cradled, is what we ask. Next question is, I'll let you, Dougie, handle this one. How is the driver involved? Meaning, what can they see when they log in? So I know you're experienced in doing demonstrations of our product. So what is involved when the driver gets in this? What do they see when they log into this?
Okay, so when the driver initially logs in, they'll receive a dashboard. Once they start driving, all their trips are starting to collate together, and all the information that they've gathered on that trip. So you can see their starting point, their end point. They can keep a track on their overall driving time themselves. As I say, some of the regulations have been relaxed. Speeding we've retained, okay, within the application. So if you do incur any speeding events, then you'll be able to see those on the application as well. And if you get away with it, then just take that as a near miss, that potentially that could have been a fine and 3 points on your license if you were really unlucky. So they will be able to see that, see full details, and they'll also see a safety score. What we see is a safety score. So if they do be unfortunate enough to get any speeding events, then they'll start clocking up and they'll see a score on the dashboard. Okay.
Fantastic. Now, are they going to see any of the other drivers or their trips when they log into their application?
No, only the managers and supervisors can see that. Everything is very, very personal, so they'll only see their own data. But they may be able to see where they are in a team. So if you're in a team of 10, you could be number 2 of 10 or 3 of 10 or even 1 of 10, and we all want to be number 1.
Perfect. So that's one of the next questions was, is there any element of gamification so my drivers can get into a competition? So I think the short answer to what Dougie had just said is yes, there is a score tracking on the site. Dougie, I'll kind of let you expand on kind of what is the gamification, what's involved in that?
Okay, so on the notification element, there's 4 little icons on the bottom of the screen, and one of them is a bell shape with a notification, and we can push information to the application. This is very open-ended actually, because we can push lots of information. If there's known hazard hotspots, etc., then as you approach them, you can get verbal notification. But you can also get information about where your team sits in the organization and where you sit within your team. Okay, so it allows you to be the best team in the organization, the best team in the group, and the best driver within that best team in the group. Okay, you got a chance to shine, basically.
Awesome. Love that. So one of the questions we got is, how long does it take for me as a manager to access to see my drivers? What is the process? So again, the process is essentially filling out that spreadsheet, getting it back to us so that we can upload all the drivers into the system and get it pushed over to you. Again, 24 to 48 hours, and obviously we have training videos. And what we'd ultimately like to do, especially for the managers, is to have them take a training on how to best utilize the application and take a look at what we call our central system. So that's where they're going to take a look at all their drivers, see the 24-hour playback, and run all kinds of different reports. So again, it's a very intuitive system, but we always want to make sure that people are getting the most out of the system. Dougie, this looks like one for you. It says, I'm a bit worried about my drivers touching their phone in the car. Does the phone have to be on show in the car?
No, it can be sitting in the blank screen. It can be sitting in the background. The application just work behind it. Also, if they're using any delivery software or anything like that, then it just runs in the background. It works seamlessly. Okay, there's no reason for them to interact with the phone whatsoever whilst they're in the vehicle.
Fantastic. Okay, do we have any other questions in the audience here before we depart? Does the application use the battery on the phone excessively? So I think we kind of covered that one, but do you want to maybe cover it in a little bit more detail, Dougie?
No, I can cover it again. So as I say, we recommend that the power cord is connected when you're driving. That's fine if you're in a car or a truck or something like that. And the phone, the battery is minimal impact. But if you are on a motorcycle or you're constantly going in and out, then our tests show about 10% per hour is what it's going to take it down to. Okay. If the phone's just sitting on your desk, or you're in the canteen waiting to go out, then it's less than 1%. Okay.
Fantastic. Great. All right. I don't see any other questions coming over. So with that, I think we'll say a thank you. Again, I want to say thank you all for taking the time out to be on this call today. I know you guys all have busy schedules, so really appreciate you being here with us. And if you have any further questions about our solution or you'd like to learn more about how to get started, you can simply contact us at info@greenroad.com. Again, that is info@greenroad.com. And yes, it says, will you share the recording of this video? Absolutely. We will give a link. Most likely, I will talk to our VP of Marketing and find out where that link will be that you could find that. Most likely, you may be able to find that on our LinkedIn page as well as our website. So on behalf of Dougie, myself, the entire GreenRoad team, I wish you all a great rest of your day. Please stay safe out there. And again, thank you for being with us today. Have a great day all.
Bye-bye.